specifically wine labels. Wines and Vines recently published an article highlighting, I would say it's an obscure law that says winemakers cannot sign bottles of their wine at the winery or at restaurants, but may now be able to do so at retail establishments under certain conditions. Matthew Botting is general counsel at the California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control in Sacramento, also known as the ABC, and joins us on the line to share some insight. Welcome to the program, Matthew.
Thanks for having me.
I can tell you, as somebody who used to manage brew pubs in the early days, I worked with many an owner who turned pale at the suggestion that the ABC was coming for a visit.
Well, we don't like to promote that side of things.
Right. It's just one of those
We do
things.
like to ensure everyone's obeying the law, though.
Now, speaking of laws that cover this sort of thing, like signing labels, are known as tiedhouse laws. Can you explain?
Well, basically the tiedhouse laws evolved following the repeal of Prohibition. They're intended to really keep a separation between manufacturers, distributors, and retailers of alcohol, because a lot of the problems that preceded Prohibition were really caused by that close relationship, and it's TIED, not TIDE. So it's the tying of it's either an ownership or a contractual relationship, and that led to a disorderly marketplace or excessive promotion of alcoholic beverages, and you get such things as there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
That all came from that era, where food was given away as long as you bought the alcohol to go with it. And it evolved over time to a lot of other terrible things that people associate with the old-time saloons that still happens today, such as gambling, prostitution, other vices.
Right. Matthew, what about like those happy hours where you have free food that's out there so long as you're, taking part in the happy hour? I guess under the law, you don't have to buy a drink in order to eat that free food?
Well, this actually gets a little bit to how you introduce this, talking about an obscure law that prohibits signing of bottle labels. I would challenge anyone to actually find that law in the ABC Act, because that's not actually what it says.
Oh.
What it comes down to is that there's a provision, it's Section 25600 of the Business and Professions Code, which essentially prohibits a licensee from giving any premium gift or free goods in connection with the sale or distribution of alcoholic beverages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's part of, it's partly tied house and partly designed to minimize aggressive marketing practices of giving things away to encourage people to purchase and consume alcohol.
And the signature is considered to have financial value.
Well, here's the thing. You got to put this in a little bit of context, and of course that article in Wines and Vines, it was just, it was a snippet of a presentation
Right.
that was given that expanded on this, and, we were there for over an hour talking about this stuff. So, when you take it out of context, it kind of is a little jarring.
Yeah, you were at a conference in Napa, right?
Right.
Answering questions from winemakers and such.
Exactly. Yeah, and this has been going on for years. Now, the problems become or build up when alcohol manufacturers and distributors would hire a celebrity, for example, to go into a retail premise and autograph bottles of whatever the product is, wine, spirits, even beer. And you get a couple of things that come from that. One is directly on the tied house. One of the things that is prohibited is a manufacturer from giving anything of value to a retail licensee. So you get the first part of a manufacturer is now engaging a celebrity to go into a retail store that's going to be a draw for customers to go to that retailer.
Right.
And certainly the more it's promoted, the more advertising is given to that retailer. So that's a thing of value to the retailer.
Oh.
Then you get the next part. If it's strictly a bottle signing event, the only way you're going to get that bottle signed is to purchase the product. So you're actually now requiring a customer to actually purchase a bottle of an alcoholic beverage to get it autographed. And once they've purchased it, they're probably going to consume it. So anything that requires the purchase or consumption of alcohol is generally considered to be a bad idea. Then you get the next flow-on effect of that is, and we have seen this, you get the consumer who has now purchased that product and gets it autographed. Then the more recognizable or important the celebrity, the greater the value that might be attached to that autograph.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go on eBay right now and find autographed bottles selling for, or at least the asking price is 2 or 3 times what the original purchase cost was, even if it's empty. So it's just based on the bottle and the autograph. Then you get the next step, which is trying to sell the full bottle. Well, a consumer, Joe Blow Public is not allowed to sell alcohol.
Oh, right.
So, they don't have a license to do it. So you get this kind of unintended, perhaps, consequence that you're generating an unlawful marketplace by putting value or additional value on the product that you just sold. So you get all of these things thrown in together. Now, at the extreme, as with a lot of these things, it's really easy to identify the extreme ends of the spectrum. So you get the extreme where you got the promotion, the big-time celebrity requiring purchase of alcohol, and all that sort of carry on. So that's kind of in the bad bucket, if you will. Right. Then you get the more benign sorts of activities, which is exactly what this has kind of blossomed into, these oh my God moments of, you mean I can't sign a bottle of wine that someone just bought at my winery? And it's like, look, we've never had a problem with that sort of activity, but it was the extreme end of the spectrum that then caused the industry to go to the legislature last year to get specific legislation to allow for it.
Oh, okay.
Now, once that happens, you look at the law as it's now written, and it spells out some very specific circumstances under which you can engage in this sort of activity.
Can you give us an example?
Well, I can tell you exactly what it's...
Oh, yeah. I guess so, if it's that specific, right.
Yeah. For example, it has to be... it may only take place at the premises of an off-sale retail licensee.
So, for instance, like if there was a winery in Paso Robles and a liquor store or a Bevmo or something, that sort of situation?
Well, yeah, exactly. So you could do it at the Bevmo because they're an off-sale retail licensee, but that's the only place you can do it. It doesn't say you're allowed to do it at your winery. Okay. It doesn't say you're allowed to do it at a restaurant or a bar. So you can see now that the legislature has spoken, it creates this somewhat challenging environment in which stuff that no one ever really had a problem with before is now clearly in violation of the law.
Right. I have an example I want to ask you. I don't want to get this person in trouble, though, because they're a really well-known brewer in the state. So I went to a Christmas party. This was back in the early 90s. I went to a Christmas party at this brewery, and they make special Christmas beer. And so I asked the brewer if he'd sign the bottle for me because they were giving people at the Christmas party this beer. And as it turned out, I accidentally left it in an area where it got rained on and it was no good anymore because the signature smeared and everything. But was that act illegal?
Well, now you're getting into sort of the nitty gritty of it.
Right.
If I say yes, then I sound really stupid.
Right.
But because that falls into the category of, that's not the sort of stuff we're
that's not what you're worried about.
That's not what we're worried about.
Mm-hmm.
But could I make an argument that it's technically in violation of this new provision? Yeah.
Right.
Would we ever take disciplinary action against a licensee for doing what you just described? Probably not. We still like to think we have common sense, despite what a lot of people accuse us of doing and not having common sense. But when someone asks me or asks anyone at ABC and presents a situation like that, is this legal? I can only tell you what the law says.
Right.
I'm not going to say, but don't worry, we're never going to come after you. But the reality of life.
No, you can't do that. Right.
No, I mean that's like asking a CHP officer, if I go 60, am I speeding?
Right.
When the speed limit's 55, and it's like, well, yeah, you are. And are you going to get a ticket? Probably not, but could you? Yeah.
We're speaking with Matthew Botting, not bottling, General Counsel at the California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control. He's going to stick on through the commercial break. I have several more questions just after this. You're listening to Eat, Drink, Explore. California business owners, entrepreneurs, farmers, authors, and other professionals, this message is for you. We're looking to highlight those of you who give back to the community, care about the environment, and have the health of our state as part of your business model or focus. Our new California Love website is in the beta testing phase. So, during the next few months, we're offering free listings to qualified people or business entities. It's a win-win situation. You help populate our site with quality, locally owned California companies, and we help direct customers to your business or product. Simply head over to CALUV.com. That's CA as in California, LUV as in a cute way to spell love.com, and enter the information for your business today. Why wouldn't you? It's easy and it's free. CALUV.com, the California Love Business Recommendation Tool. Hey, Farmers Market fans, listen up because we're launching a new show just for you. Join the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network each Thursday evening from 5:30 to 6 for a healthy dose of recipe sharing and food news. We broadcast our show live from the historic downtown San Luis Obispo Farmers Market, but the information shared is designed for anyone who has a love of fresh, seasonal produce and locally made artisan treats. So whether your favorite market is located at San Francisco's Ferry Plaza in downtown Santa Monica, or if you're simply a member of a CSA, you'll love our weekly Market Fresh, available live each Thursday evening at eatdrinkexplore.com. And if you missed the show, follow our updates on Facebook and Twitter for links to the recipes shared, video from the show, and other great information. Eat, Drink, Explore Radio's Market Fresh, helping perfect your California flavor. The Eat, Drink, Explore Media radio show you are currently enjoying is in a local affiliate commercial break. Live programming will return shortly. Did you know you can watch a live video simulcast of our Sunday morning and Thursday evening shows from your computer, smartphone, or tablet device? And to top it off, it's free. Simply head to eatdrinkexplore.com or download our free app from the Google Play or Apple App Store. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming guest segment, send an email to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. We're always looking for fresh ideas, including yours. We love to share fresh, local, organic, seasonal, and sustainable ideas throughout the week. And the best place to find those are on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook feeds. Our username across the social networking universe is simple: Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. Hey, college students, Eat, Drink, Explore Media is always looking for qualified journalism or marketing interns. Send us an email today so we can check your status and put you on the list for upcoming intern vacancies. Would you like to hear this Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on one of your local radio stations? Let the station know and contact us as well so we can get the ball rolling. Okay, you made it. The local affiliate commercial break is now over. Time for more informative and entertaining programming from Eat, Drink, Explore Media. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the program, everyone. It is 9:49 right now, the time. Great to have you with us on this Sunday morning. This is the final segment of our Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. I'm your host, Randall White. If you caught us during the last segment, we're speaking with Matthew Botting. He's the general counsel at the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, or the ABC, in Sacramento. This is the watchdog for wineries, breweries, distillers, and that sort of thing. Welcome back to the program, Matthew.
Thank you.
So during that last segment, we talked about the legalities of winemakers, for instance, signing bottles of wine at their winery or at a retail establishment, that sort of thing. The article that brought this to my attention was in a publication called Wines and Vines, and they hit on several other topics that were brought up at this conference where you were speaking in the Napa Valley. And one thing that is tricky no matter what industry you're in, radio for sure, we have several rules we need to follow, but is the whole contest and sweepstakes sort of thing. I've heard that the ABC rules surrounding wineries and such, it looks like a big phone book for a large city. So I imagine a large portion of that might be set aside for contests and sweepstakes.
A very small part of it is set aside for contests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, just so you and your listeners are aware, there's a lot of information on our website, and we've actually issued recently a couple of industry advisories on each of these topics.
Oh, good.
And that's at www.abc.ca.gov, and there's a link to industry advisories.
Great, and we'll put a direct link to that as well, Matthew, on our program summary page.
Excellent, because the contest and sweepstakes, here's, again, a little bit of background on this. I know we haven't got a lot of time, but that same section I referenced earlier, 25-600, that prohibits giving away premiums, gifts, and free goods, also applies to prizes awarded by way of a contest or a sweepstakes. And the department actually had for about 20-odd years a set of unofficial guidelines on how to do sweepstakes. And it turned out that those guidelines were not followed, and they did not have the force of law, and were really technically what we call an underground regulation, because they didn't go through a proper rulemaking process. Of course, the industry was happy to follow them because it allowed them to do things they wouldn't otherwise be allowed to do.
Right.
But when it all came crashing down, they were left with, you can't really do these things. And at best, if they were done properly, you could give a prize away, which for beer was worth 25 cents, wine $1, and distilled spirits $5. So very restrictive. As a consequence, you got a lot of sweepstakes that were not in contests that were not valid in California. The California residents were ineligible to enter. Last year, again, the legislature passed a fairly comprehensive statute that has now allowed certain licensees, so not every type of licensee, but certain authorized licensees to conduct consumer contests and to conduct or sponsor consumer sweepstakes. And I emphasize conduct or sponsor because there is a difference. If you do it yourself, conducting it, if someone else is doing it, you're providing a prize or
oh, I see.
Yeah, then you're sponsoring theirs. And there's a reason for that, which is fairly complicated, but
right.
But I'll try to summarize it real quickly, is that for years, alcohol manufacturers have been allowed to sponsor contests conducted by other organizations. And the example I always use is like a PGA golf tournament. So they give money to the PGA to sponsor the tournament.
Okay.
That's been allowed for years. if the legislation that was enacted encompassed sponsoring contests, then a lot of those sorts of contests would have been prohibited.
I see.
Or at least complicated, because one of the provisions is no one under the age of 21 is allowed to enter.
Right.
So imagine a running race or a golf tournament where all of a sudden no one under 21 could enter.
Right. It would certainly make the field a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, I have a question for you. Before we run out of time, I want to know about the selling of food at wineries. You know, when you think of, because I came from the brewing side of things, breweries almost always have a restaurant attached. Wineries, I can't think of ever seeing a restaurant attached. What's the situation there?
Under the ABC Act, it's permissible to have a restaurant attached to a winery. What seems to be the challenge in many areas are local use permits or zoning requirements.
Oh.
I know Napa, for example, for years have really promoted the agricultural nature of the area, so they've not allowed wineries to engage in other types of commercial activities, which may include the operation of a restaurant. So it's not really a state law issue for at least for ABC.
It's more local.
But more of a local zoning issue.
I see. And finally, what about events that are held at wineries? I've been to a wedding in the Napa Valley and that sort of thing. Are there rules surrounding what can happen at these events? Yeah,
at least, again, you get some local zoning issues, which we don't get in the middle of. But from ABC perspective, a lot of the challenges come up with what sort of alcohol can be served there, because wineries are allowed to make and sell wine. They're only allowed beer on the premises if they're operating a bona fide restaurant or in connection with a private event. So they can sell beer and wine if you get the example of a wedding. So if someone comes and does a wedding or other private event there, then the winery can sell beer and wine in connection with that, and I think brandy as well, but not distilled spirits. You can't get around that distilled spirits restriction by having a caterer come in, so it's not the winery that's then selling the alcohol. That's what some people try to do, is say, okay, look, it's not the winery doing it, where caterers coming in, but you can't expand your privileges beyond what you're allowed to do by having a caterer come in and do it. One of the other issues that comes up is if, like, a non-profit organization wants to host a fundraiser at a winery, and actually it's not just limited to wineries. If they want to host it at any licensed location, if that non-profit is going to be getting the revenue from the sale of alcohol, then the non-profit needs a license there, which means the licensee, the winery or retailer, has to surrender their license. So it can get pretty complicated.
Sounds like it, but like you said, they can go to the website and get lots of details, and we do have that link available under the program summary for today's show. Matthew Botting, General Counsel at the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control in Sacramento. Thank you for joining us and shedding a little light on these tiedhouse rules.
My pleasure.
All right, and everyone have a great holiday Sunday. I'm Randall White. Again, Patty Piper and off today. Make it a fantastic Sunday.